Alright, welcome back everyone. So today we're going to be taking a look at a company that goes by the name of Quantumscape. Now this is just one of many companies out there that focus on the electric battery space. And in this episode today we're not only going to be looking at Quantumscape, but also a couple of ETFs as well that give you exposure to a range of EV batteries. Now first up, why is it that we're looking at electric vehicle batteries? The fact of the matter is that we're at the early stage in terms of vehicles being switched over from fossil fuels to that of an electric based one. We have the likes of Tesla, but in terms of a mass scale, that transition into an electric vehicle has not happened at a global scale at the moment. And so naturally there will be this demand of more vehicles that move away from fossil fuels, and the underlying technology is batteries. So if we can identify companies out there that focus on the battery technology, then holding such companies will almost guarantee a sizable profit in the near to long term. And so moving on to Quantumscape, which is a company that's backed by Bill Gates. Let's take a look at Quantumscape's technology. So we can see that a solid state lithium metal battery is one which replaces a polymer separator that's used in conventional lithium ion batteries. And so this solid state separator allows for a much greater amount of energy stored in the same amount of volume. In terms of the electric vehicle range, if you have a higher density battery, then it means that you have more range on the vehicle. Now at the moment the company has not commercialized their product, but potentially there is an improvement of 50 to 80% compared to that of today's leading electric vehicles. Now they give the example of a 200-mile range. There are some companies out there that are pushing a little bit further than that, such as Lucid Motors, but potentially we could see a range between 300 to 400 miles. So range aside, let's understand how long lasting these batteries are. And you can work this out by working out how many cycles there are when charging the battery. So at the moment tests have been conducted on their single layer cells with over 1,000 charge and discharge cycles, and they have maintained approximately 90% capacity. So if you think about a mobile phone for instance, normally they drop to an 80% capacity range. To put that into perspective in terms of a vehicle, you would have to drive an equivalent or slightly over 300,000 miles, assuming the pack is a 300-mile range. Those are harsh estimates, and so that 300,000 mile range could be shifted a little bit higher. And in terms of the company's long-term approach, the goal here is to form partnerships with other automakers. Assuming their technology can deliver, then they believe they can be the single vendor that supplies to all these different automakers out there. Now the truth is, Quantumscape is just one of many EV battery makers out there. We can actually see several companies in the future that are producing at mass scale just because of the high demand required. And so battery factories out there will need to be producing at full capacity to meet all the demand that will inevitably take place in the future. Now taking a look at Quantumscape on Trading 212, we can see with a current price of $23.90, there's actually been a sell-off in recent times. Now they actually peaked at around $130 mark over a year ago, and so even in the short term this company is a great play. We could easily see this company turn around a 20% and potentially even a 40% as well. But overall this is a great long-term hold as well. To be transparent, I haven't invested in this company at the moment, but it's one that I will be adding to my watch list. Now I'm aware some of you out there don't like to focus on individual based companies, and so to have exposure to a wider space in terms of the EV market, but in our case specifically towards the EV battery sector, I have an interest in ETF to talk about briefly. So ticker symbol is GRIV. I'm using the Interactive Brokers account. This is an ETF with the likes of Alphabet that has invested heavily, and so we can see all these big tech players out there that are investing heavily into what they believe is the future. And so we can see a current price point pretty high at $30 at the moment. Again, I haven't invested into this ETF, but this is one option out there if you want to have exposure to the wide variety and being able to track the performance of all the different companies out there which may be successful but equally may fail in the future. Now just switching back to Trading 212, in terms of the one ETF that I have purchased into, we can see the ticker symbol named ECAR, and it's from iShares. So the full name, iShares Electric Vehicles and Driving Technology. This is listed on the London Stock Exchange with a current buy price of $8.31. And so as always, if you invest in individual based companies, you have the greatest chance in terms of profit, but you have the highest risk given that there's a single point of failure. If that company goes under, then the investment that you have is is lost. If you invest in the likes of an ETF, then because it's tracking different companies out there, your risk is greatly reduced, but equally your profits and losses are not going to be as significant. All in all, I think these are all interesting ETFs, and the company that we spoke about today, Quantumscape, is an interesting company. So let me know in the comments below if you plan on investing any of these 3 ticker symbols. As always, new videos are posted each week. Thanks everyone who has been supporting this channel. I'm seeing a lot of new people that have been subscribing and commenting on the videos, so really appreciate the support. And so with that said, I'll catch you in the next one.